Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we're live on a Friday evening, which means it's time for us to start cooking up some fun. And this evening, the topic I'm going to talk about is beef, how to buy it more efficiently and how to use it in even more ways than we normally do. And the most important thing about what I'm about to show you is the savings that you will get. Now, I've bought a big piece of tipped sirloin or sirloin tipped. It's an oven roast thing, but you probably wonder how much that costs today. And for those of you who want to, please feel free to have a guess of that in your country. I'm not sure what the prices are where you live right now. But for me, I bought it because it was on special at $25. And how much is it? It is, in Canadian, it is just a tad under 2 kilograms, and that would be about 4 pounds, just over 4 pounds in American height, as I could see. So that's a fairly decent sized piece of meat. And what I want to show you is I'm going to cut it up, all right, into the various things that you would probably buy pre-packaged from the store. So let's think together here. What sort of things would you buy pre-packaged that was beef? How many of you would buy steaks? Probably sirloin steaks. All right. So one of the things I'm going to do here is cut a couple of steaks. How many of you might buy cubed beef for this time of the year? Probably kebabs. Which is beef Florentine? I see you writing it there. I want to make sure I get it right because it's not something, you could. I'm going to do part of it as a roast. All right. And I'm going to do part of it as steak. I'm going to do part of it as kebabs. And then obviously we could make ground beef from it as well. I'm not going to today, for burgers and stuff like that. But what I want to show you is this cost me $25.39 Canadian. Yes, Jody's saying, okay, that Florentine is beef rolled with spinach and cheese like a pinwheel. Now, I know that as something else, Rondellen or Rondellen. Yes, stuffed burgers, all right? That's I actually was going to be doing that tonight because I was meant to have somebody coming tomorrow, but they've just moved the date. So we'll do the stuffed burgers again next week. But you understand what I've done here is done a comparison of what it would cost me to do those different things individually if I bought it individually, and then what it costs me here. I obviously don't want this out too long, so I'm just going to put this away while I talk. And then what we'll do is we'll cut it up. All right, so here's the comparison I did. I said, let me get my eyes on so that I can do this properly. And I have done some comparisons for the US. So just to give you an idea, 2 sirloin steaks, fairly decent ones. All right. That would cost about, for average, from what I can see in Canada, and maybe Jody, could you have a look at, 2 fairly decent size sirloin steaks, what the cost is in the States? That would be good. I thought I'd got that price in, but I didn't. That would cost me about $31 Canadian at the place where I normally buy. All right. And we'll wait for Jody to, and Jody, if you could, can you add these up for me as I go through them? I've only got 3 that I've got here. All right, I'm presuming that Jody's okay with this. For those of you, yeah, thank you, Jody. Jody is our admin, for those of you who don't know. All right, so the number one thing, a couple of sirloin steaks. While you're there, Jody, and I'll just keep talking so give you time to check these out. How about some cubed steak? I'm thinking about about a pound of cubed steak. And then how much does it cost in the States for, let's say, about half a pound? I would think would be about the average there, right? About half a pound of hamburger. All right, so while you're looking for those, I'm going to cut, Jody, so that should give you time, and then we can do the comparison. All right? I've just got something happening in my fridge, which I don't want to have happen. Just knocked something over, so just bear with me a second, please. Oops. All right. Yeah, where's the meat? All right, so what I'm going to do is all right, sirloin is about $13.95, all right? So that's an American. There we go. For two good steaks, I want to tell you, that's a ridiculously cheap price. Wow. All right, then I will ask you to have a look at a roast in a minute. You're saying cubed would be about $6.39. I'm saying some hamburger, about a pound of hamburger. Ground beef, whatever you call that. Hi, Autumn. Good to see you. How was the move? Actually, how's the unpacking? All right, and the last thing, Jody, is maybe you could look, what does it cost where you are in New Hampshire for about, what does we say that is? About 4 pounds of sirloin roast. All right, a sirloin tip roast, if you can find one. I'm just trying to give you some idea. It doesn't really matter, because even if I just give you the Canadian money, you'll understand the savings. All right. So one is I can buy this and cut it up, and the other is I can buy it individually packaged. Let me show you the difference in Canadian. Autumn, I don't believe you. Autumn's saying after they've just moved, they're now packing up to go on a 5-day trip. Really? Stress. How about that? And I'm hoping that Sandy is back from Portugal and sleeping it off. You know, that's another thing. All right, so here we go. The first thing I'm going to cut is a roast. And I'm going to cut this end as a roast. Let me see if I can do that. So, and luckily it's got some, that's just a small roast for me. All right, feed 1 or 2 people. And I'm just going to put it in and let it cook. I'll just put a little bit of oil on it and some seasoning. Actually, I'm not going to use that for the roast. It's got that fat bit in it. Mind you, I'll give it a good taste. Oh, yeah, okay, we can do that. Okay, so put some oil on it quickly. And I'm going to put some Montreal steak spice on it that I love. And I'm just going to put it in as it is to cook. And I'm going to get my thermometer on it. So because I don't want it to cook too much. All right, and what we'll do is we will make that beef. And what I want it to have it is medium rare. All right, you're saying, all right, Jody, so it's pretty similar. All right, Jody's saying it's about $23.16 for a 4-pound roast. That's all we basically need to know. So the prices are pretty similar. And now what I'm going to show you is what it really costs me if I had cut it up and bought them pre-packaged, because I'd be paying for the labor for somebody else to cut it up. Does that make sense? I'm going to put this in. All right, now the next thing I'm going to do is to make some cubes for kebabs. All right. So I think I'll take about that much. Never cut all of the fat off because that's what gives it the taste. Now, what I should be able to do here is give you an idea. I turn on my magic. All right, so I'm going to just put the plate on its own and then re-zero it. All right, so this amount that I've cut off, that's what, about an inch? All right, actually weighs 13 ounces, I think. No, I lie. I think that's one. Yeah, I think that's 13 ounces. Let me just double check what it says. No, yep. I'm going to do that again. Put the plate on its own and zero it. Okay, put that on. Well, now it says 12 ounces. So it's a 12-ounce, which would be, how many meals would that make, people? Can you remember how big is a serving of beef? Any of you remember? You know, if you went to a restaurant, how much do they serve you of beef? Very important, because if I cut this into kebab-sized pieces, I should be able to make 4 kebabs out of this. How many sticks have I got? Hang on, I've got some smalls. I've got big sticks. So I'm going to make, because I've already got these wet, I'm going to make 2 big kebabs out of this. So first I'm going to cut off the fat, because that won't be good in a kebab. The big bit of fat that's in sirloin. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that off. You see this big gristly sort of bit? We don't want that. But would it be good in a stew? That's what we used to do. And there's a gristly bit here, which we don't want for kebabs, but we'll keep it for later. All right, so now we're down to this. Okay, and I'm going to cut it there, seeing as it wants to be cut there. All right. Did anybody take a guess of, in a restaurant, 3 ounces? Yeah. Not 10 or 12. If you look it up, a serving of beef as per the, you know, whatever. Yeah. That's why I want you to understand this. Exactly, is we eat far too much, all right? For whatever excuse you want to give. Isabel saying, we have more because it's cold. Okay. You could say we have more because we like more. So what I'm going to do is show you how much beef 3 ounces is. All right. So we know that this is 0. Again. All right. So this is, because I think when you can actually see it. Yeah. All right. So this is 3.1 ounces of meat. That's a serving. So that's what I'm going to do, except I'm going to make a whole stack of them. All right. Let's see how much this all adds up to. And then we'll just put them on the skewers. In the meantime, I'll warm this up. Now, I could use this for stew, but seeing as it's the summer, I'm more likely to want to eat kebabs. So that's how I'm going to do it. And by the way, I'm using the sharpest knife I've got. Okay, so now I've got just about, is 11 ounces. So just about 4 helpings, right? Makes sense? So I'm just going to thread those all onto skewers. But in the meantime, I'm going to use up some of the vegetables that we've got. So let's put some of that on. Oops, I don't know if the carrots will work. We can try it. Now, I don't normally do carrots. I would pre-cook them a bit. Let's do some bread. And we'll do some onion. Always remember, I've got this fancy way of cutting onions, so I don't cry. Cut the ends off like this. Okay. And then I cut it in half like that. And then I take off the first big layer, or 2 layers sometimes. All right. Now I won't cry. I hope. Now you waste a bit of onion, but look at this. Awesome. Okay. Should have started with an onion, but never mind. See how far we go with this. Do a pepper, onion, meat. Yeah, onion. When I have people over, if I'm doing kebabs, I actually will put the meat and all the possible things you could thread onto it into separate bowls, and I let people actually construct their own. Good point. All right, Isabel's saying, all right, seriously, I know our serving should be 3 ounces, but in the menu, when we go to a restaurant, the choice for a steak is 10 or 12 ounces. The 3 ounces would be a children's meal. And that's the whole point, all right? So this is now probably not even half of the meat on a big skewer. So let's get that cooking up. Put a little bit of oil on it so it doesn't stick. And we'll put a little bit of steak spice on it. It tastes good. Okay. I want to put this away again because we'll get to that in a minute. So, onion first. All right, and we'll just thread some on. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook these up and then freeze them pre-cooked. Why? Because they're going to be for me. I'm thinking about, what would I like to eat during the month? And it's really nice to be able to bring out a skewer of stuff that's already cooked. I just have to warm it up or have it cold. That's also a possibility. And if you notice, I'm putting a fair amount of vegetable on here, just so that when it looks more than it actually is. That's part of the trick that I've learned. Okay, another one. More pepper. Jody, can you keep half an eye? Can you see the thermometer thing? If you see it go to green, just give me a heads up, if you will. I'll try and remember to check it myself, but you know me. All right, so that's 2. Let's sprinkle some stuff on there. Yum, yum. And now we'll do the last one. Now you can buy kebabs pre-made, but understand, why would you? You pay a fortune for them when you can make them far more, cheaply. So we're going to put some onion. This is a sort of, it's got quite a bit of fat on there. I'll take that off. I just, you don't want it to be tough or trying to eat the fat when you've got a kebab. Funny enough, it doesn't matter in a stew because it cooks down. You don't want it in a kebab. In fact, I think I'm going to keep that for making stew out of. All right, so why fight it? No reason at all. All right. So my question to you is, not Isabel, but to those of you who are watching, is would one of these be a meal for you or two? All right, a kebab this size. Because that's up to you. I personally, one would be fine for me the way I'm eating these days. But even so, think about how many meals I'm creating here. All right, the roast I'm going to carve up into slices, and I will pack it sliced. I'm going to have to make a bit more room here. Another one. I think I better get all the meat threaded on here. Come on, go down a bit. There you go. All right, so now I'm going to put some more meat. Cut that off. Some oil on it. Yeah. Put some seasoning on it. Done. All right, so you're saying two kebabs for you, Isabel? All right, so that's what I'm saying. And we used, can anybody remember? I think I said that was, but you understand, load it up so that the meat is only a third of it, if you can. All right? But each one of these, all right, creates a meal. Now then, when I was cleaning out the pantry, I found these. These are bean sprouts. And these are been in there for sorry about that. They've been in there a while. Oh, it's a pleasure, Jody, to have this. I'm hoping I will inspire you in other ways as well. So now I'm going to keep that in a container. I'm going to put a lid on it for now and put it in the fridge. All right, so now we've done a roast, kebabs, and how many of you have had a beef Florentine, as Jody talked about, also known as I think it's also known as Rondellen or Rondellen. I think it's from the Nordic countries. I could be wrong. Europe, anyway. I think it originally started out. And if you haven't had it, all you do is you very finely cut beef, all right, as thin as you can, and then you use that instead of bread or lettuce or whatever. You make a wrap, but the wrap is the beef. Have any of you ever done it? Shall we make one so you can see it? And actually, it's a very, again, another nice way of using meat in a creative way. I hadn't planned to do that, but I'm happy to show you the idea. Yep, Isabel would like to see it. Okay. All right, so Isabel, all you do is you take a roast if you've got one. All right, put this here for now. And then cut a very fine slice of meat. So I'm going to try and cut a thin slice off first and then a second one. Should actually get my electric carving knife out for this, but never mind. Let's see how it goes. All right, now that's a very thin slice, but I'm trying to get to the thicker part of the meat. So basically, you're cutting a big slice of beef. Okay, it's just like this. And then what you do, and what I'm going to do, oops, is I'm going to take these two together like this. There's another bit. And you can do all sorts of things with it, right? Jody was saying cream cheese inside with spinach. I've got some cream cheese. Actually, I might put some smoked cheese inside and some bacon. Why? Because I've got them. There's my cream cheese. Yeah, that's cream. Where's the bacon? Ah. What did I do with the bacon? You know I took it out specially, don't you? All right, don't let's worry too much about it. We'll make a plan. So all we're going to do is to spread some cream cheese on the beef, like this. And obviously we're going to put some onion in it, but this time we're going to cut very fine slices. Yeah. Now what you will do is you obviously can't do this medium rare or whatever because you need stuff to cook inside. So it's a bit like cooking hamburger. All right, so I'm going to put some onion in there. That will be nice. And, oh, I know what I've got. I've also got some celery. Maybe put some celery leaves in there to get a bit of green. It's good for us. And then all you do is roll it up. And I suggest like this was fatter one end than the other. So what I'm going to do is fold the bigger bits in as I roll it like this. Might not work, people, but you get the idea. Yeah, I think it will. There you go. Ha! Did it. All right, and now we need some toothpicks. These are also been soaking in water, so they won't burn when they cook. That should hold it together. So, did you see that? Gouda, I love Gouda as well. Yeah, I was going to use some smoked cheese, but anyway, I've just done it this way. Get the idea, is? And now I'm just going to put some oil on it, help it crisp up, and then roll it in some of the seasonings we've got left here. And we'll just cook that up. Yum. Oh, I cannot tell you how good that beef looks. Oh, you know, I was looking for the bacon right next to me. That's why I couldn't find it. Oh, Lord. Okay, so now we've done a roast. We're doing 3 kebabs. Yeah, Kimmy's saying that she's heard that elderly retired people are going back to work just so they can survive, and that's why we do this, is to make sure that you understand you don't need to eat 12 ounces of steak if you don't want to. All right, so now we still got this much left, and what haven't we made yet? Actually, that would make another really nice roast just as it is. All right, I don't want to spoil it just for the sake of cooking it, so I think I'm just going to cook this up as a roast. But you understand, I could make it into ground beef, right? Make hamburger out of it, or do all sorts of things. But I really like, in the summer, I do like sliced beef, cold, with Branston pickle and cheese. So I'm going to also cook this one, because it's a really nice looking roast. So we'll just get that ready, and we'll pull the other one out so you can see. Yep, it's just about ready. All right, so now I think you'll agree that that roast that I put in just now wasn't in for very long, but remember, it's in an air fryer, all right? And because it's in an air fryer, it takes far less time. And what about I know what we'll do. We'll put some mustard on this one, make it a different taste. That's what we'll do. Yum. Oh, I've still got a little bit of the mustard that Jeannie sent me, so let's use that. This is called Ray's mustard, and this is the sweet and spicy. Yum. So good. Give that a nice coating of mustard there. How many of you are drooling just looking at that? Some on the sides. Really would prefer not to double dip in the mustard, although mustard really is about the most antiseptic thing you can think of. There you go. That is going to taste superb. Now I'm going to take that over and put it into the air fryer. I can. So messy. Good. Oh, I made a big mess. My air fryer now. Hold on. Yeah, I definitely don't want mustard burning onto my air fryer. There we go. That's clean. I don't know if any of you have noticed, whenever I use my air fryer when it's hot, I use this little spatula to stick in the hinge of the door. The reason is with those double doors, if you're not careful, you can accidentally hit one and end up with a really hot door on your arm. So I taught myself whenever it's hot, I open it up and then I put this in, then I'm safe because it can't close. Beef Wellington, yes. I was wondering if anybody would mention that. So beef Wellington, or beef Wellington is also called, basically what that is a roast that is covered in pastry and then cooked. All right? It's very doable. It's way easier than you think. You know, as long as you can roll out pastry, you can make beef Wellington. And it's really a good idea. If I had pastry here, I would probably show you. Now then, I don't think that beef roast was in for that long. You know, maybe less than half an hour for sure. I'm just going to let it sit for a bit, but I do like my beef medium rare. All right, on the rare side of medium rare. What am I trying to do? Tidy up. That's what I'm trying to do. So it's going to taste so good. I just need to tidy up enough so that I can carve this a little bit. Put these on here. And what I think I'm going to do is just take, if I can, take a picture of that while it's cooking, because that will. Where's my phone, people? I'll use my tablet. I used to take pictures with my tablet, so I can again. There we go. Oh, take two. Always take two. So. Come on. All right. So now, can you see how nicely they are cooking? Oops. Being a klutz today. Okay. Never mind. All right, so let's have a look at some. I'm just going to cut a little bit of this beef so you can see how quickly it cooked. And I'm not going to even bother to get out my electric carving knife. I'm just going to cut it with this very sharp bread knife. But now, if you're not good at carving things, here's a DearMamaSal trick for you. Take your fork and put your fork in this way. Okay? It's going to be awkward with that bit, so I don't think I can hold it all together. But then you've got sort of an easy way to cut a slice. Does that make sense? And then you'll get, your slices won't be too big. Most people cut beef way too thick. My stepfather used to cut beef so thin you could almost see through it. If you can imagine that. All right, so now then, the bit I want is this bit that we'll take a quick picture in the meantime. And what I want you to see is this is literally one roast of beef making so many meals. Nothing fancy, just beef with Montreal steak spice on top. Very nice. So, 3 ounces. There we go. So 3 ounces, just so that you can see. Is this much. Okay? That's 3 ounces. That's a serving. Oh, keep doing. Come on. Yeah. That's what I want. Do it a bit more. Put another toothpick in it. Bear with me. I want to turn the Rondellen over, but it needs another bit of securing here. Where was I? So that is 1 serving. Good. We'll do another serving, which I think will be about that. Let's try it. Yep, that's 3 ounces there. And then we've got 2 Mm, 2.5 there. Oh, that's right. I munched a bit, didn't I? Yeah, I forgot about that. Where's my? There it is. So what I'm going to do just right now is put those into packages like this, because I know that each one of those is 1 serving. For me. Now, if you want to eat, makes very nice sandwich with some mustard, good. That's what I want you to see. That, and by the way, if you happen to have a bread slicer that you can slice this really nice and thin, even better. I'm not going to totally close it, just partially close it so the air, because it's still a bit warm. All right, so we've got the kebabs. We've got 3 helpings of beef. Okay, let that cool down. And now I haven't got this on very high. I could, if I did this in my on my barbecue, they'd, cook in no time. So I've just got it cooking quietly. And I've still got another roast in the oven. How many of you can see a much better way to use beef? All right, buy a big roast of the sort of meat you like, and then play with it. Now then, what I want to know, if you have beef juices left, do you throw it away or use it? Jody, can you check what the recommendation is? My sense is that they say throw it away. And my sense, the other side of me goes, I would cook it up and put it in with the gravy, but that's just me. So let's find out the right thing. Oh, look at that. I still got some beef left. Now, what I haven't done, Jody, could you check whether you can use the blood that comes out of beef? When you thaw meat, you've got the juices coming out. Can you use that? Can you cook it up? I just remember that we always cooked it in my household. When we lived on the farm, it always went into the gravy and gave the gravy even more body. But I just want to make sure what the food safe thing is about now. So what we basically have got is the roast that's in there is bigger than this first one. All right. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, the Rondellen, 5, 6, 7. I would say 8, 9, 10, maybe even 11 by the time I've cut up that second roast. 11 meals for me for $25. So again, don't pay for packaging and for somebody to cut it up when you don't have to. If you're trying to save money, get a good knife that cuts well, and then cut it yourself. Now, if you are in a situation, it can be used to make gravy. That's why I've got some in the fridge. I'm going to throw this away because it's been out on the countertop. But I when I first did it, I saved some. And how many of you know that even though I have cooked that second roast, I could just put some of those cubes in and make a stew out of it? Just let it cook quietly one evening. Even though it's already cooked, it won't matter that you cook it again. So what I'm going to do is to cook up the gravy and then make ice cubes out of it, so that I can use that gravy anytime I want to. I want to tell you that was really tasty, but I'm going to wait until I can have the outside. I don't know. I like my meat medium rare, but I love that outside piece. How about you guys? So I reckon that's the best part of beef is the very outside piece. Oops, I don't want to contaminate that. My bad. All right, so now this is the one that we rolled up, just so that you can see. Obviously, you need to take the toothpicks out. Mm. Right, that's the one thing to be careful of. Make sure you remove all the toothpicks. But we could have stuffed it with mushrooms and, other cheeses or whatever. And then, all right, next. I'm just going to cut a bit off so that you can. I'm probably going to eat this tonight. Oh, if I don't totally massacre it beforehand. I just want to see how well done, if at all, the onions are. Yep, onions are still a little crunchy, which is great. And now I've got this cooked beef. And cream cheese. I thought. I should have chewed it a bit more. With apologies. Okay. My humble apologies. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just going to waste some meat, though. I'm so sorry. That's trying to walk and chew gum at the same time. All right, what's Kimmy saying? I'm so sorry I did it. And of course, it would happen when that's live, right? All right, so Kimmy's saying, Kimmy's in Wyoming. And you're nearly there. And Kimmy is saying that there isn't much meat in her market right now. All right, it's going to get worse, Kimmy. That's why I said to you 2 years ago, start buying meat and put it in your freezer. Remember? because we knew this was coming. However, if you can still buy meat in cans, do it. Because the next thing will happen is you won't be able to buy meat in cans anymore. There won't be enough. So if you can, if you don't mind eating spam or you don't mind eating corned beef or anything like that, buy meat, healthy soups, those hearty soups with meat in it. And you may find out, it's one of the things I was talking to Benji about this week. It's called, if you haven't got any, all right, then you may need to get in the car and go travel far enough that you can find some. Right? That's what people do. They don't just go, okay, I don't have any where I live, and I know you live in a pretty rural sort of type setting. So maybe you need to go closer to a major town to be able to find meat. Or the other thing is, Kimmy, maybe you need to talk to a local farmer who's got cows and see if you can, if you can buy a cow or part of a cow, which is another thing people did. Do you think I'm safe to try and push a bit more down? Because that was so tasty. Some of you are scared now, I'm sure. I was trying not to talk with my mouth full, but now I don't mind. I'd rather do that than choke again. That is very tasty. It's not hunting season till September. Kimmy. So, but I'm not talking hunting deer. I'm talking about cows. Some farmers that have cows, will slaughter a cow and you can buy a quarter of a cow or something if you've got the freezer space to do it. By the way, any of you, if you've got the room for that, it's the cheapest way there is to buy meat, without a doubt. So you don't have to buy a license to get meat from a cattle farmer. I don't think. Anyway, you need a license if you're going to go out and start. But something, Kimmy, it's a good point. I'm glad, you always bring up interesting points. How many of you know that's what people did when meat got really scarce? They started, going out and finding rabbits and duck and all sorts of things. So, and some of you are going, oh, I don't like the taste. I've never had. First of all, have you ever had rabbit? And if you haven't, it tastes a lot like lamb, I guess, in a way. And if you've never had lamb, then, so, you learn to eat different foods, not because you necessarily like them, but if it's the only meat you can get, it's the meat you will eat. Pretty simple, right? And Kimmy, it's interesting because you obviously are a benchmark for us if it's really scarce where you are. And it's going to get worse, all right? By the way, do any of you know what your price of gas was today? I went to go get gas. And I don't know, Jody, can you do the calculation from liters to miles per gallon pretty easily? I think you're better at it than I am. I paid $2.22 for a liter. So a liter, you've got 4 liters to a gallon. Are there 4? No, 2.2 liters to a gallon, right? So we are paying about just under 5 now. I think that's right. It's always difficult for me to do those calculations in my head. I don't do that easily. Anybody's got a calculator nearby, just do, yeah. All right, basically that's what I thought. Basically 4 liters to a gallon. And I paid, so 4 twos are 8. I paid $8 a gallon. Oh, nearly $9 a gallon here in Canada. Is that possible? No, the other way around. If I paid $2.22 for 1 liter, yeah, isn't that scary? You guys are complaining. I only half filled my tank and it cost me $75. Kim, now you know I've got a big Jeep with a big fuel capacity in it. But it used to cost me $80 to fill the whole thing, and that used to be horrific. It cost me $75. I just got past halfway with $75 today. Scary, huh? It's going to get worse. Which is why I only drive my car. Thank you, Jody. $8.39. You are so clever, Jody. I don't know how you do it. $8.39 we're paying here in Canada. So if you're paying less than $5 a gallon, be grateful. So this is the whole thing is, you learn to only use your car when you absolutely have to. I don't have to commute to work. I've actually did a blog on it today, so I'll put that up. So with some recommendations. Okay, so let's see how we're doing here. Now, I'm going to just finish this bit up. That was good. Wow. Isabel's saying she's going to New Jersey. Oh, good. Do we get more footage from there? And just to go to there, it's going to cost $200 from your house. Imagine 9 more hours to go and 9 more hours to come back. Absolutely. Kimmy's saying already one gas station is going out of business where she is. Yeah, it's very, very scary. And the problem is that there's not much anybody can do about it, right? Until Saudi Arabia, loosens the reins and produces more. Russians obviously aren't going to give us any. Or might, the Russians will hold everybody ransom now. They won't sell their, I would think. So it's going to get very difficult for a while. From your house, is that to Montreal? I'm not sure what MTL is. But what you're saying, Isabel, is it's worth it to you, all right? Montreal, okay. So here's the thing. It doesn't mean you can't go anywhere, like Isabel, all right? It doesn't mean you can't go anywhere. It's just be aware it's going to cost you twice as much as it ever did before, just on the gas. But then hotels will be more expensive as well. So, if you're in a hotel, if you're lucky enough to be able to stay with friends, that's a cheaper way to do it. So don't be angry about it. It is reality right now, right? Will it last forever? No. It could last a year, maybe 18 months. That's my best guess. I'm not an economist, but from what I can work out, if we go into recession, most recessions maybe last about 1 to 2 years, all right? So, and people are doing everything they can to stop it being a recession, so let's hope that works. But either way, it's going to be difficult, which is why I'm trying to show you that $25 can basically feed me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, right, 4, 5, 6. Forgot to move those. Oh, they look good. Why didn't you tell me to turn them over? They're crispy now. Yum. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Meal tonight, 7. I'm eating this, 7. 8, 9. I would say about 12 meals. Is that what I said before? About 12 meals. That's pretty good. And really good quality beef. Thank you. Jody's saying not only does the $25 go a long way, the meals are delicious and nutritious. It's a win-win. And so the thing is this, I love cold beef, right? So if obviously this doesn't work if you happen to be a vegan or vegetarian or anything, but what I'm saying is understand, if you buy pork and you like pork chops, buy a whole loin, all right? It's about this big, right? The full one about this big, and then cut it into chops. You will save almost 50%, I would think, doing that. Be your own butcher. That's what I'm trying to get at. Does that make sense? Don't pay somebody else to cut it, and then you've got to pay for the wrap and all the rest of it. Just buy the whole roast and cut it up as you need it. All right, everybody, I hope this made sense. I clean forgot to use the bean sprouts, but we'll save that for another week. This is DearMamaSal saying, I hope this made sense to you. I hope you can see how to save money. And by the way, how much money did I save between the package? Over $16, which was well on the way to buying another roast. And when I worked out the prices bit by bit, I saved over $16 by buying the full roast and cutting it up, which will be my meat for next month. Makes sense. You can do this. By the way, if you're tempted to buy things with bones in it, I'm thinking spare ribs, very, very popular in the summer, but be aware what you're paying for is bone. All right, there's very little meat on it. So think carefully. I think I saw a chicken go on sale, and I don't normally buy a whole chicken, but the price was so good, I would be mad not to buy that as it is, because the price was so good. So keep looking, keep letting me know what you find and what's difficult. Kimmy, thanks for letting us know what's getting difficult down in Wyoming, because it means it's going to get difficult everywhere else too. This is DearMamaSal saying, we can do this together. We'll just keep learning every week. We'll learn a bit more. How can we do this better? Love you dearly. I'm off to eat the rest of this now. And the outside of that one that's been in the oven. So bye-bye to everyone. We'll see you soon. Sunday. Jody, thanks for the help.